Have you ever wondered what it truly looks like when a man falls deeply, irrevocably in love with an older woman? Not the surface-level attraction, not the fleeting infatuation, but the kind of profound love that transforms him from the inside out. The kind of love that makes him look at you not despite your age, but because of everything your years have given you. Your wisdom, your depth, your unapologetic authenticity. Today, we're diving deep into the unmistakable signs that reveal when a man isn't just interested, isn't just attracted, but is genuinely, completely, and wholeheartedly in love with the woman who has lived more, experienced more, and become more than he ever imagined possible. What you're about to discover might surprise you, might validate what you've been feeling, and will definitely change how you recognize real love when it stands before you. Welcome back to The Heart Code, where we decode the complex language of relationships, emotions, and human connection. If you're new here, this is your safe space to explore the deeper truths about love, particularly for those of us who refuse to let age define our capacity to be loved, desired, and cherished. Before we begin this transformative journey together, I want to ask you to do something that helps this message reach more women who need to hear it. If you find value in today's content, please hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that this message matters. Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts or experiences, because your voice adds richness to our community. Share this video with a friend who might need this perspective. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the insights we share here. And if you really want to support the work we do in creating this content, consider leaving a super thanks. It directly helps us continue bringing you these deep dives into the psychology of relationships. Now, let's get into the heart of today's topic. When a man falls deeply in love with an older woman, something extraordinary happens. It's not the same as when he loves someone his own age or younger. There's a different quality to this love, a different depth, a different level of intentionality. Why? Because choosing to love an older woman requires him to confront societal expectations, to question cultural norms, to stand firm in the face of judgment, and to embrace a connection that goes beyond the superficial markers our society often uses to measure romantic value. Let's explore the profound ways this love manifests, the behaviors that reveal his true feelings, and what makes this dynamic so uniquely powerful. The first thing you'll notice when a man is deeply in love with an older woman is how he seeks her wisdom before making major decisions. This isn't about him being indecisive or lacking confidence, quite the opposite. It's about him recognizing that you've accumulated years of experience, lessons learned, mistakes survived, and wisdom earned. He doesn't just tolerate your advice, he actively seeks it. Before accepting a new job, he wants your perspective on the opportunity. Before making a significant purchase, he values your financial wisdom. Before navigating a difficult family situation, he turns to you for guidance on handling complex emotions and relationships. This behavior reveals something crucial. He sees you not as someone to protect or save, but as someone whose judgment he trusts implicitly. He understands that your years haven't just added numbers to your age. They've added depth to your insight, nuance to your understanding, and clarity to your perspective. When he comes to you with his challenges, his dreams, his fears, and his decisions, he's telling you that he values your mind as much as he desires your body, that he respects your experience as much as he adores your presence. But here's what makes this even more significant. He doesn't just seek your wisdom, he actually implements it. He doesn't ask for your advice and then ignore it or dismiss it when it challenges him. He genuinely considers what you say, weighs it carefully, and often acts on it. This shows that his respect for you isn't performative, it's real. It's integrated into how he moves through the world. And when your advice helps him navigate a situation successfully, he doesn't take credit alone. He acknowledges your contribution, sometimes privately, sometimes publicly, but always genuinely. This is a man who understands that loving an older woman means honoring the totality of who she is, including the hard-won wisdom she brings to the relationship. The second unmistakable sign is how he introduces you to everyone who matters in his life without hesitation or apology. There's no hiding, no downplaying, no strategic omissions about your age difference. When a man is deeply in love with an older woman, he doesn't introduce you as my friend to avoid questions. He doesn't conveniently forget to mention you when family gatherings are discussed. He doesn't create separate social circles where you exist in one but not the other. Instead, he proudly introduces you to his parents, his siblings, his closest friends, his colleagues, and anyone else who plays a significant role in his world. He says your name with pride, looks at you with unmistakable affection, and makes it clear through both words and body language that you are the woman he has chosen, the woman he loves, the woman he's building a life with. This behavior is particularly telling because it requires courage. Society still holds outdated notions about age gap relationships. Especially when the woman is older, people make assumptions, offer unsolicited opinions, and sometimes even express disapproval. A man who is merely infatuated or casually involved might buckle under this social pressure. But a man who is deeply in love, he stands firm. He doesn't argue with every ignorant comment, but he also doesn't hide his love to make others comfortable. He understands that the people who truly matter will see what he sees, a remarkable woman who enriches his life in countless ways. And for those who can't accept it, he's willing to create distance from their negativity rather than distance himself from you. This willingness to weather social judgment for the sake of your relationship speaks volumes about the depth and authenticity of his feelings. The third revealing behavior is how he matches your emotional maturity rather than expecting you to regress to his level. One of the most exhausting dynamics that can emerge in any relationship is when one partner constantly has to lower their emotional standards, simplify their communication, or tolerate immature behavior because the other person hasn't developed the capacity for adult emotional functioning. When a man is deeply in love with an older woman, the opposite happens. He rises to meet you where you are. He observes how you handle conflict, with direct communication rather than silent treatment, with honesty rather than manipulation, with the goal of resolution rather than winning. And he adapts his own approach to match that maturity. He sees how you take responsibility for your emotions, how you express your needs clearly, how you set boundaries without guilt or apology, and he learns from your example. This doesn't mean he becomes perfect overnight or never makes mistakes. Emotional growth is a journey, not a destination. But what distinguishes deep love is his genuine effort to evolve. When he falls into old patterns, getting defensive instead of listening, avoiding difficult conversations instead of addressing them, or reacting from ego instead of responding from understanding, he catches himself. Or when you gently point it out, he doesn't get offended or dismissive. He reflects, acknowledges, and adjusts. He understands that loving you means meeting you at the level of emotional sophistication you've cultivated through years of self-work, therapy, failed relationships that taught you lessons, and conscious personal development. He doesn't see your emotional maturity as intimidating or demanding. He sees it as a gift that elevates him, challenges him to become better, and creates the foundation for a relationship based on mutual respect and genuine partnership. The fourth sign is how he celebrates your independence rather than feeling threatened by it. Older women typically come with established lives, careers they've built, friendships they've nurtured for years, hobbies and passions they've developed, financial stability they've earned, homes they've created, and routines they've perfected. A man who is deeply in love with an older woman doesn't try to dismantle any of this. He doesn't need you to be available every moment, doesn't pout when you have plans with your friends, doesn't question your financial decisions, and doesn't expect you to reorganize your entire life around his needs and schedule. Instead, he admires your independence. He finds your self-sufficiency attractive, not threatening. He respects that you have a full life that existed before him and will continue to thrive with or without him. And he wants to add value to that life, not replace or control it. This manifests in subtle but significant ways. He encourages you to maintain your friendships, even when it means less time with him. He supports your career ambitions, even when they require travel or long hours. He respects your need for alone time, understanding that solitude isn't rejection but self-care. He doesn't create drama around your independence or use emotional manipulation to make you feel guilty for having a life beyond the relationship. Instead, he integrates himself into your existing life while maintaining his own identity and pursuits. He understands that the healthiest relationships aren't built on codependency, but on two whole people choosing to share their lives while maintaining their individuality. This level of emotional security and relationship maturity is rare, and when you find it, you've found a man whose love runs deep. The fifth behavior that reveals his deep love is how he engages with your interests, even when they're not naturally his own. We all have things we're passionate about, whether it's a particular genre of music, a type of cuisine, a hobby like gardening or painting, a cause we support, or cultural experiences we value. When a man is casually involved, he might tolerate these interests or politely decline to participate. But when he's deeply in love with an older woman, he does something different. He engages, not in a performative way where he's pretending to care to earn points, but in a genuine exploration of what makes these things meaningful to you. If you love classical music and he's never listened to anything beyond popular radio, he asks you to share your favorite pieces and actually listens, trying to understand what moves you about them. If you're passionate about a particular social cause, he educates himself about the issues and finds ways to support your involvement. If you have a beloved annual tradition, he doesn't just attend, he participates with full presence. This behavior reveals something beautiful about his love. He wants to know you in your entirety. He understands that your interests, passions, and values aren't separate from who you are. They're expressions of your inner world, reflections of what brings you joy, meaning, and fulfillment. By engaging with them, he's engaging more deeply with you. He's saying, I want to understand what lights you up, what matters to you, what has shaped you into this woman I love. And in the process, he often discovers new dimensions of himself. Maybe he never thought he'd enjoy art museums until he experienced them through your knowledgeable eyes. Maybe he never considered meditation until you introduced him to the practice. Maybe he never cared about sustainability until your passion for environmental issues awakened his own awareness. This mutual expansion, where you introduce him to new worlds and he brings his own perspectives and passions to share with you, creates a relationship of continuous growth and discovery. The sixth unmistakable sign is how he handles the topic of aging and the future with honesty and commitment. Let's address the elephant in the room that many age gap relationships face: the reality that you will age at different rates, reach different life stages at different times, and potentially face end-of-life issues sooner. A man who is merely attracted but not deeply in love might avoid these conversations entirely, living in the fantasy of an eternal present where age differences don't have practical implications. But a man who truly loves you faces these realities head on. He doesn't shy away from conversations about your future together. He doesn't pretend that your age difference doesn't exist or won't present challenges. Instead, he engages in thoughtful, mature discussions about what your shared future might look like. He asks questions about your retirement plans and considers how his own career timeline might align or adapt. He discusses health and wellness not as criticism, but as partnership. How can you both support each other in maintaining vitality and quality of life? He doesn't make promises he can't keep about always being there, but he demonstrates through consistent action that his commitment isn't contingent on you remaining exactly as you are today. He loves you as you are now, and he's committed to loving you as you continue to evolve, age, and change. This might mean discussions about healthcare, about potential caregiving needs, about how you'll support each other through inevitable life transitions. These conversations require vulnerability, maturity, and deep love, and a man willing to have them is showing you that his feelings aren't superficial or temporary. Moreover, he doesn't use your age as a weapon during conflicts or as an excuse during difficult times. He never throws your age difference in your face when he's angry or frustrated. He doesn't make cruel comments about aging when he wants to hurt you. He doesn't use your age to dismiss your concerns or invalidate your feelings. This restraint and respect, especially during emotionally charged moments, demonstrates that his love for you includes protective boundaries around your dignity. He understands that words can wound deeply, and he refuses to weaponize the one thing you cannot change, the years you've lived, against you. The seventh behavior is how he prioritizes quality time and meaningful connection over superficial activities. When you're younger, relationships often revolve around external activities, clubs, bars, social events, constant stimulation, and entertainment. But when a man deeply loves an older woman, he often shifts his priorities toward deeper connection. This doesn't mean you never go out or have fun together. Of course you do. But he's equally, if not more, content with evenings spent in deep conversation, cooking dinner together, taking long walks, reading in the same room, or simply being present with each other without the need for constant external stimulation. He asks you questions that go beyond surface level. He wants to know about your childhood, your dreams, your disappointments, your proudest moments, your deepest fears, and your most cherished hopes. He listens not to respond, but to understand. He remembers details from conversations you had months ago and brings them up later, showing that his attention was genuine. He creates space for emotional intimacy by being vulnerable himself, sharing his own struggles, insecurities, and aspirations in ways that invite deeper connection. This quality of presence and depth of engagement is different from the distracted surface-level interaction that characterizes many modern relationships. It shows that he values the substance of who you are more than the surface-level experiences you can share. The eighth sign is how he handles your past without jealousy or insecurity. Here's a reality. As an older woman, you have a past. You've likely had previous relationships, maybe a marriage or two, possibly children. Definitely experiences and connections that shaped you before you met him. Some men might feel threatened by this history, intimidated by former partners, or insecure about not being your first in various ways. But a man who is deeply in love with an older woman approaches your past with maturity and perspective. He understands that your previous relationships weren't failures. They were stepping stones that taught you what you needed to know to recognize real love when it appeared. He doesn't compete with your memories or feel diminished by your experiences. Instead, he's grateful for the journey that brought you to this moment, because without it, you wouldn't be the woman he loves. This manifests in how he talks about your past. He doesn't interrogate you about previous relationships with thinly veiled jealousy. He doesn't make disparaging comments about your ex-partners or try to position himself as superior to them. He doesn't get uncomfortable when you mention memories that include people who were once significant in your life. Instead, he listens with genuine interest, understanding that your history is part of your story, and your story is what makes you who you are. If you have children from previous relationships, he doesn't see them as competition or complications. He respects your role as a mother and finds appropriate ways to support that dimension of your life, without overstepping boundaries or trying to replace anyone. This secure, non-jealous approach to your past demonstrates emotional maturity and deep love. It shows that he's not trying to possess you or erase your history. He's trying to honor the fullness of who you are, past and present, and to become a meaningful part of your future. The ninth revealing behavior is how he advocates for you in spaces where you're not present. True love isn't just about how someone treats you to your face. It's about how they represent you when you're not around to defend yourself or manage the narrative. When a man is deeply in love with an older woman, he becomes your advocate in his social circles. If someone makes a dismissive comment about age gap relationships, he doesn't let it slide with uncomfortable laughter or silent complicity. He speaks up, not necessarily with aggression or defensiveness, but with firm clarity about the value and legitimacy of your relationship. If someone questions his choice or makes assumptions about your relationship dynamic, he corrects the misperception. If someone disrespects you, even in subtle ways, he addresses it. This advocacy extends beyond just defending against negativity. He also speaks about you with genuine admiration and respect. When he talks to his friends about his relationship, he doesn't focus on superficial attributes or reduce you to stereotypes. He talks about what he genuinely admires: your wisdom, your humor, your strength, your perspective, your kindness, your passion, or whatever qualities he finds most remarkable. His friends and family don't wonder why he's with you, because he makes it abundantly clear through how he speaks about you. This public honoring of who you are, even when you're not there to hear it, demonstrates that his love isn't performative. It's integrated into his entire life and worldview. The 10th sign is how he handles conflicts and disagreements with respect and maturity. Every relationship faces conflicts. It's inevitable when two individuals with different perspectives, needs, and communication styles build a life together. What distinguishes deep love is not the absence of conflict, but how it's navigated. When a man is deeply in love with an older woman, he approaches disagreements as problems to solve together rather than battles to win. He doesn't resort to yelling, name-calling, silent treatment, or other destructive conflict patterns. He doesn't dismiss your concerns as overreactions or use your age to patronize you during arguments. He doesn't threaten the relationship every time you disagree or use breakup as a manipulation tactic to get his way. Instead, he stays present during difficult conversations, even when it's uncomfortable. He takes responsibility for his part in conflicts rather than deflecting all blame onto you. He apologizes when he's wrong, genuinely, without the non-apology of "I'm sorry you feel that way." He gives you space when you need it, but doesn't use withdrawal as punishment. He returns to difficult conversations rather than avoiding them indefinitely. He seeks to understand your perspective, even when he disagrees with it. He makes repair attempts after conflicts, the small gestures, words, or actions that signal "we're okay and I still love you even though we just disagreed." This mature approach to conflict is often something that older women particularly value because they've experienced the opposite. Relationships where conflicts devolved into toxicity, where disagreements threatened the entire foundation, where partners used emotional manipulation rather than honest communication. When a man can navigate conflict with both strength and gentleness, with both honesty and compassion, He's showing a level of emotional development that indicates deep, sustainable love. The 11th behavior that reveals his profound love is how he supports your goals and dreams without needing them to align with his own timeline or ambitions. At this stage of your life, you likely have clear visions for your future, career goals you're still pursuing, creative projects you want to complete, places you want to travel, causes you want to support, personal growth you want to achieve. Some of these goals might have been deferred during earlier life stages when you were building a career, raising children, or supporting someone else's dreams. Now you're reclaiming your own aspirations. A man who deeply loves you doesn't see these goals as obstacles to your relationship or as competition for your time and energy. He sees them as essential parts of who you are and actively supports their pursuit. This support isn't passive. He doesn't just say, "That's nice," when you talk about your dreams. He asks questions about your goals, helps you brainstorm strategies for achieving them, celebrates your progress, and offers practical support when possible. If you want to start a business, he's your first customer and biggest cheerleader. If you want to write a book, he creates space and time for you to write. If you want to travel to a particular destination, he helps you plan it or encourages you to go, even if he can't join you. If you want to pursue additional education or training, he supports the time and financial investment required. He understands that your fulfillment and self-actualization aren't separate from the relationship. They enhance it by keeping you vibrant, engaged, and continuously growing. This is particularly significant because some partners, especially younger or less secure ones, might feel threatened by your independence and ambition. They might subtly undermine your goals, create obstacles to your pursuit of them, or make you feel guilty for investing time and energy in things beyond the relationship. But a man who truly loves you wants to see you thrive in all dimensions of your life. He understands that your happiness isn't solely dependent on the relationship, and he doesn't want it to be. He wants you to have a rich, multifaceted life where he plays an important role, but not the only role. The 12th sign is how he handles your vulnerability with tenderness and protection. Older women are often perceived as strong, capable, and self-sufficient, and many are. But strength doesn't mean the absence of vulnerability. Everyone has moments of fear, sadness, doubt, or pain. When a man is deeply in love with an older woman, he creates emotional safety for those vulnerable moments. He doesn't judge you for having needs or dismiss your emotions as weakness. He doesn't use your vulnerability against you or store it away as ammunition for future conflicts. Instead, he holds space for your humanity in all its dimensions. When you're struggling with something difficult, a health concern, a family crisis, a professional setback, or emotional pain from your past, he doesn't try to fix it unless you ask for solutions. He simply listens, validates, and supports. He understands that sometimes you don't need advice or problem solving. You need compassionate presence. He doesn't make your pain about him or turn your vulnerable moment into an opportunity to center his own feelings or needs. He stays focused on you, on what you're experiencing, on how he can be a source of comfort and support. This capacity to handle another person's vulnerability with grace is a mark of emotional maturity and deep love. Moreover, he protects your vulnerability. He doesn't share your private struggles with others without permission. He doesn't minimize what you're going through by comparing it to others' experiences or suggesting you should be grateful it's not worse. He doesn't shame you for feeling what you feel or struggling with what challenges you. He honors your courage in being vulnerable with him by treating that vulnerability as the sacred trust it is. The 13th revealing behavior is how he integrates you into his future planning in concrete, practical ways. Talk is cheap. Anyone can say, "I see a future with you," or "I'm in this for the long term." But when a man is deeply in love with an older woman, he backs up those words with actions and decisions that demonstrate real commitment. He includes you in conversations about where he wants to live and considers your preferences, your career, and your connections to place. He discusses major purchases and financial decisions with you as a partner, not as an afterthought. He makes plans for vacations, holidays, and significant events, months or even years in advance, that automatically include you. He talks about future goals, buying a home, career transitions, retirement dreams, using we language rather than I language. This future orientation is particularly meaningful in age gap relationships because it directly confronts the question that often hovers in the background. Is this just a temporary situation or a real commitment? When he's making concrete plans that include you 5, 10, 20 years down the line, he's answering that question through action. He's not living in magical thinking where age differences and practical realities don't exist. He's engaging with those realities and choosing to build a future with you anyway. This might include difficult conversations about finances, about health care, about potential challenges you might face. But his willingness to have those conversations and make plans that account for various scenarios demonstrates that his love is not idealistic fantasy. It's grounded, realistic commitment. The 14th sign is how he respects your boundaries without resentment or passive-aggressive behavior. Healthy boundaries are essential in any relationship, but they're particularly important when there's an age difference that might come with different comfort levels, needs, and preferences. When a man deeply loves you, he doesn't just tolerate your boundaries, he respects them. If you're not ready for certain relationship milestones, he doesn't pressure you or make you feel guilty. If you need time alone or space to process things, he doesn't take it personally or punish you with withdrawal. If you have boundaries around communication with ex-partners, around relationships with opposite-sex friends, around social media, or around any other aspect of life, he honors those boundaries without making you feel controlling or unreasonable. This respect extends to physical boundaries as well. He doesn't pressure you sexually or make you feel inadequate if your desire levels don't always match. He understands that sexuality can evolve with age, that stress affects libido, that comfort and trust are prerequisites for genuine intimacy. He doesn't compare you to younger women or make you feel like you need to compete with some imagined standard. He desires you as you are, and his desire is communicated in ways that make you feel beautiful, wanted, and appreciated, rather than objectified or pressured. When boundaries are respected consistently without resentment, it creates a foundation of trust that allows the relationship to deepen. You don't have to constantly defend your needs or justify your limits. You can relax into being yourself, knowing that your partner sees your boundaries not as obstacles, but as healthy expressions of self-respect that actually strengthen the relationship. The 15th behavior is how he celebrates you publicly and privately in ways that honor your whole self. Recognition and appreciation are fundamental human needs in relationships. When a man is deeply in love with an older woman, he doesn't just express affection in private, he's proud to celebrate you publicly as well. This might look different depending on his communication style and comfort with public displays, but the core principle remains. He makes it clear that you matter to him and that he values you. On social media, if that's part of your shared life, he acknowledges you and your relationship in ways that feel authentic and respectful. He posts photos that capture genuine moments rather than just highlighting physical attributes. He writes captions that reflect real appreciation for who you are rather than generic romantic cliches. He acknowledges important moments in your life, achievements, birthdays, anniversaries, with genuine celebration. In person, whether at social gatherings, family events, or casual encounters, He introduces you with pride and includes you in conversations. He doesn't leave you standing alone at parties while he networks or socializes elsewhere. He doesn't act differently around you depending on who's watching. His affection and respect are consistent. He compliments you in front of others, not in ways that objectify or embarrass you, but in ways that highlight qualities he genuinely admires. He seeks your input in group decisions and defers to your expertise in areas where you have special knowledge or experience. Privately, he continues this celebration through small acts of appreciation. He notices when you've put effort into your appearance and tells you, "You look beautiful." He thanks you for things you do that enhance his life or your shared life together. He expresses gratitude for your presence, your support, your love, and your partnership. He tells you specific things he appreciates about you. Not just generic compliments, but observations that show he really sees you. "I love how you handled that difficult conversation with grace." Or, "The way you support your friend through her crisis shows such loyalty and compassion." Or, "Your creative approach to that problem was brilliant." These specific acknowledgments show that his appreciation isn't superficial. It's based on genuine observation and deep knowing of who you are. The 16th sign is how he handles jealousy in healthy ways. Jealousy is a natural human emotion, and even the most secure people experience it occasionally. What distinguishes mature love is not the absence of jealousy, but how it's processed and expressed. When a man deeply loves you, he doesn't try to control you through jealousy or use it as an excuse to monitor your behavior, isolate you from friends, or question your faithfulness. If he feels jealous, perhaps because someone is flirting with you, or you're spending time with a male friend, or you mention a past relationship, he processes that feeling internally first. He asks himself whether the jealousy is based on real concerns about your behavior or on his own insecurities. He considers whether there's something in the relationship that needs addressing, or whether this is his issue to work through. If he decides to mention it, he does so without accusations. He uses "I" statements rather than "you" statements. "I noticed I felt uncomfortable when that guy was flirting with you, and I want to examine that feeling," rather than "you were encouraging his attention." He's open to hearing your perspective and trusting your reassurance. He doesn't need constant validation or proof of your fidelity. He understands that you chose him, you're with him, and occasional moments of outside attention don't threaten. That unless there's an actual breach of trust, this mature handling of jealousy creates an environment where both people feel free to have friendships, professional relationships, and social connections without constantly managing a partner's insecurity. The 17th behavior that reveals deep love is how he handles stress and difficult periods in life. Life inevitably brings challenges: job loss, health issues, family crises, financial pressures, grief, and countless other difficulties. When a man is only superficially involved, these stressors often cause him to withdraw from the relationship or even use them as excuses to exit. But when he's deeply in love with an older woman, he does the opposite. When life gets hard, he moves closer rather than pulling away. He doesn't hide his struggles from you out of some misguided notion of protecting you from his problems. He lets you in. He shares what he's going through, accepts your support, and works through challenges as part of a team rather than as a solitary individual. Similarly, when you're going through difficult times, he doesn't treat your struggles as burdens or inconveniences to his life. He shows up. He asks what you need. He takes on additional responsibilities without complaint. He stays present even when it's uncomfortable or when he doesn't have solutions. He understands that partnership means being there through the difficult seasons, not just the easy ones. This consistency during hardship is one of the most powerful demonstrations of deep love because it's easy to be loving when everything is going well. True character and true love shows up when things are hard. The 18th sign is how he handles moments when you exceed him in certain areas without feeling emasculated or threatened. As an older woman with more life experience, there will be contexts where you have more knowledge, more skill, more connections, or more success than he does. Maybe you earn more money. Maybe you have a more prestigious career. Maybe you're more educated. Maybe you have more social capital in certain circles. Maybe you're more skilled at practical things he's still learning. A man who is deeply in love with you doesn't feel diminished by these realities. He doesn't need to downplay your achievements to protect his ego. He doesn't compete with you or try to assert dominance in other areas to compensate for where you excel. Instead, he genuinely admires your competence and achievements. He brags about your accomplishments to his friends and family. He seeks your help and guidance in areas where you have expertise without feeling shame about not knowing something. He's comfortable being introduced as your partner at your professional events without needing to be the center of attention. He understands that relationships aren't competitions and that your success doesn't diminish his worth. This security in himself and genuine pride in you, even or especially when you outshine him in certain areas, demonstrates emotional maturity and deep, secure love. The 19th revealing behavior is how he makes you feel seen in the small, everyday moments. Grand gestures and big declarations are wonderful, but deep love is sustained through countless small acts of attention and care. When a man truly loves you, he notices things. He remembers that you don't like mushrooms and orders accordingly. He picks up your favorite coffee without being asked. He notices when you're tired and suggests you rest while he handles dinner. He remembers the names of your friends and asks follow-up questions about situations they're going through. He notices when you've had a haircut, when you're wearing something new, when you're quieter than usual, when you're stressed, when you're excited about something. These small moments of being seen accumulate into the feeling of being truly known and valued. Moreover, he translates this noticing into action. He fills your car with gas when he knows you have a busy week. He picks up groceries when he knows you're running low. He sends you a text during the day just to say he's thinking of you. He records a show he knows you wanted to watch. He brings you your favorite treat after a hard day. He suggests activities he knows you'll enjoy. These aren't calculated moves to earn points. They're natural expressions of love from someone who pays attention and cares about your comfort, happiness, and well-being. This consistent attentiveness in everyday life is often more meaningful than occasional grand romantic gestures because it shows that his love isn't performative. It's woven into the fabric of daily life. The 20th sign is how he handles the reality that your relationship might face more external judgment than same-age relationships. We've touched on this in various ways, but it deserves explicit attention. When a man is deeply in love with an older woman, he doesn't just tolerate the potential judgment, he actively shields you from it when possible and stands with you when it's not. If someone makes an inappropriate comment about your age difference, he addresses it so you don't have to. If someone treats you dismissively because of assumptions about your relationship, he makes it clear that disrespect toward you is unacceptable. If family members express concern or disapproval, he doesn't ask you to prove yourself or win them over. He makes it clear that their acceptance of the relationship is important, but their acceptance of you as a person is non-negotiable. He also doesn't internalize the judgment in ways that poison the relationship. He doesn't start questioning the relationship because someone else questions it. He doesn't begin to see you through the lens of societal prejudice, as someone who's too old for him or who he's with for some ulterior motive. He maintains his own clear vision of who you are and why he loves you. regardless of external noise. This requires strong internal conviction and deep certainty about his feelings. It's not stubbornness or defensiveness. It's clarity about what matters most to him. The 21st behavior is how he approaches physical intimacy with reverence and genuine desire. Let's talk about something important: sex and physical intimacy in relationships with age differences. When a man is deeply in love with an older woman, his attraction to you isn't despite your age or despite the ways your body might have changed over the years. It's to you, fully and completely. He doesn't make you feel like he's settling or doing you a favor by being intimate with you. He doesn't reference younger women's bodies as the standard you should aspire to. He doesn't pressure you to look a certain way or maintain certain physical attributes to keep his attention. His desire for you is genuine, communicated clearly, and based on the totality of who you are: your mind, your spirit, your energy, and yes, your body exactly as it is. He approaches intimacy with presence and attentiveness. He's not rushing through to satisfy his own needs. He's genuinely interested in your pleasure, your comfort, and your experience. He asks what you like, pays attention to your responses, and adapts his approach accordingly. He understands that intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional and spiritual connection that happens to include the body. He creates safety for you to be vulnerable, to express your desires, to communicate your boundaries, and to enjoy physical connection without insecurity or performance pressure. He complements your body in genuine ways that make you feel beautiful rather than objectified. He looks at you with desire that's unmistakable and makes you feel wanted, attractive, and desirable regardless of your age. This aspect of the relationship is particularly important because societal messaging constantly tells women that their sexual value decreases with age. A man who loves you deeply contradicts that message through both words and actions, helping you reclaim or maintain your sense of yourself as a sexual being worthy of desire, pleasure, and satisfaction. The 22nd sign is how he talks about the future of your relationship in specific rather than vague terms. It's easy to make general statements about wanting to be together forever or seeing a long-term future together. But when a man is deeply in love with you, he gets specific. He talks about particular plans, where you might live, how you'll spend holidays, what your retirement might look like together, how you'll support each other through various life stages. He discusses logistics, not just emotions. He thinks through practical details like whose place you'll eventually share or if you'll find a new place together. He considers how his life plans and your life plans can align or adapt to create a shared future. He thinks about how to build financial security together. He discusses how you'll blend your lives, your families, your traditions, and your individual paths into a shared journey. This specificity demonstrates that his commitment isn't abstract romantic idealism. It's concrete planning for a real, shared life. He's not just dreaming about being with you. He's actively creating the conditions for a sustainable partnership. And he invites you into that planning process as an equal partner whose input, preferences, and needs shape the decisions being made. This collaborative approach to future planning shows respect for your agency and demonstrates that he sees you as a true partner in building a life together. The 23rd revealing behavior is how he handles your emotions without trying to fix or dismiss them. Emotional intelligence and emotional labor are topics that often come up in discussions about relationship dynamics. When a man deeply loves you, he develops his emotional intelligence specifically in ways that serve the relationship. This means he learns to be present with your emotions without immediately trying to fix them, solve them, or talk you out of them. If you're sad, he doesn't rush to cheer you up in ways that bypass your need to feel the sadness. If you're angry, he doesn't dismiss it as overreaction or immediately get defensive. If you're anxious, he doesn't minimize your concerns with empty reassurances. Instead, he creates space for your emotional experience. He listens, he validates, he offers comfort through presence rather than advice, unless you explicitly ask for problem solving. This is particularly important because many women report feeling like their emotional experiences are dismissed, minimized, or pathologized in relationships. They're told they're being dramatic, too sensitive, or irrational when they express feelings. A man who loves you deeply doesn't engage in that emotional invalidation. He trusts your emotional intelligence and the validity of your experience. He understands that emotions aren't problems to be solved. They're information to be acknowledged and processed. His willingness to be present with your full emotional range without judgment creates profound intimacy and trust. The 24th sign is how he approaches disagreements about values or beliefs with curiosity rather than combativeness. No two people align perfectly on every value, belief, or perspective. Even in the deepest love, there will be areas where you see things differently: politics, spirituality, parenting philosophies, financial priorities, lifestyle choices, or countless other topics. When a man is deeply in love with you, he doesn't require you to think exactly as he does about everything. He can hold difference without seeing it as threat. When you disagree about something important, he approaches the conversation with genuine curiosity about your perspective. He asks questions to understand how you arrived at your viewpoint. He considers your reasoning, even if it ultimately doesn't change his own position. He looks for common ground and shared values underneath surface disagreements. He's willing to compromise on things that aren't core to his identity or values, and he's willing to respectfully disagree on things where compromise isn't possible while still maintaining love and respect. This capacity to hold productive tension around differences demonstrates emotional maturity and deep respect. It shows that he loves you as a whole person with your own mind, not as an echo of himself. It creates space for both of you to evolve and grow over time without requiring perfect alignment on every issue. And it models healthy conflict engagement that strengthens rather than weakens the relationship. The 25th behavior is how he continues to court you and invest in the relationship long after the initial infatuation fades. The beginning of any relationship is usually characterized by intense attention, frequent communication, romantic gestures, and high investment. But many relationships deteriorate over time as partners get comfortable and take each other for granted. When a man is deeply in love with an older woman, he doesn't let the relationship coast on autopilot. He continues to court you. He still plans dates and surprises. He still compliments you and expresses appreciation. He still seeks out quality time together and creates opportunities for connection. He still tries to impress you, not out of insecurity, but out of genuine desire to bring you joy and to keep the relationship vital and alive. This ongoing investment shows that he doesn't see you as a conquest or a prize that once won requires no further effort. He sees the relationship as a living thing that needs tending, nourishment, and attention to thrive. He understands that love is both a feeling and a practice, and he's committed to the practice even when the feelings fluctuate. This consistency over time, showing up, investing, caring, and trying even years into the relationship, is one of the clearest demonstrations of deep, committed love. The 26th sign is how he handles your past trauma or emotional wounds with patience and care. Everyone carries wounds from their past, experiences that shaped them, hurt them, or left them changed. As an older woman, you've had more time to accumulate both wisdom and wounds. You might have trust issues from previous betrayals. You might have sensitivities around certain behaviors because of past abuse. You might have walls up in certain areas because you've been hurt before. When a man deeply loves you, he doesn't punish you for these protective mechanisms or demand that you just get over them. He understands that healing is a process, not an event. He's patient with your triggers. He doesn't take it personally when your past wounds create present challenges. He's willing to work around your needs while you continue to heal and grow. Moreover, he doesn't use your past against you. He doesn't bring up your previous pain as evidence of why you're damaged or too much work. He doesn't compare himself favorably to people who hurt you in the past as a way to earn points or make you feel indebted to him for being better. He simply shows up consistently, treats you well, and gives you space to trust him at your own pace. Over time, his consistency and genuine care become part of your healing process, not because he's trying to fix you, but because safety and love create the conditions for healing to occur naturally. The 27th revealing behavior is how he adapts his communication style to match yours without losing his authenticity. Every person has preferences around communication. Some people are very direct, others are more subtle. Some people need to talk things through immediately. Others need time to process. Some people are comfortable with frequent communication. Others need more space. When a man deeply loves you, he pays attention to your communication preferences and adapts where he can without losing his own voice. If you need directness, he works on being clearer and more explicit. If you're hurt by certain communication styles, he makes conscious effort to avoid them. If you need time to process emotions before discussing them, he gives you that space rather than demanding immediate resolution. This doesn't mean he completely suppresses his own communication needs or becomes someone he's not. It means he stretches and grows to meet you in the middle. He finds ways to honor both his needs and yours. And he's open to feedback when miscommunications occur. He doesn't get defensive when you point out that something he said came across differently than he intended. He apologizes and adjusts. This willingness to work on communication, one of the most fundamental aspects of relationship success, shows his commitment to making the relationship work. The 28th sign is how he includes you in his personal growth and welcomes your influence on his development. Deep love involves mutual positive influence. When a man loves you deeply, he doesn't just love who you are. He allows who you are to shape who he becomes. He pays attention to how you approach life and learns from it. Maybe you have habits around health and wellness that inspire him to take better care of himself. Maybe you have practices around mindfulness or spirituality that he begins to explore. Maybe you have approaches to conflict or emotion that help him develop his own emotional intelligence. Maybe your commitment to certain causes awakens his own social consciousness. He doesn't resist your influence out of ego or stubbornness. He welcomes the ways you challenge him to grow, expand, and become better. And he shares his own growth journey with you. He tells you about books he's reading, insights he's having, patterns he's noticing in himself that he wants to change. He asks for your perspective on his growth areas. He thanks you when your influence helps him become better. He sees the relationship as a context for mutual evolution, where you both become more fully yourselves while also becoming better together. The 29th behavior is how he handles your children, if you have them, with respect and appropriate boundaries. Many older women have children from previous relationships, adult children or younger children still at home. When a man deeply loves you, he understands that your children are a non-negotiable part of your life, and he doesn't ask you to choose between them and him. He respects your parental responsibilities and the time and energy they require. He doesn't get jealous of your relationship with your children or create competition for your attention. Instead, he supports your parenting in whatever way is appropriate, given the children's ages and your relationship timeline. With adult children, he respects their independent relationships with you and doesn't try to force closeness or act like a father figure. With younger children, he takes cues from you about his role and doesn't overstep boundaries or try to replace their other parent. He understands that being loved by you includes accepting and respecting your role as a mother. He never asks you to prioritize the relationship over your children's legitimate needs. He doesn't make negative comments about your children or create conflict between you and them. He recognizes that loving you means accepting and respecting all the roles you hold, including mother, and he finds ways to support you in that role rather than competing with it. The 30th sign that reveals his deep love is how he protects the relationship from external pressures while remaining open to healthy input. Every relationship exists within larger contexts: families, friend groups, communities, cultural expectations, and societal norms. All of these external forces can create pressure on the relationship, especially one that challenges conventional expectations, like an age gap relationship with an older woman. A man who deeply loves you creates a protective boundary around the relationship while remaining open to legitimate concerns and healthy input. He doesn't let every opinion, judgment, or piece of advice from the outside world penetrate the relationship and create doubt. He doesn't constantly second-guess the relationship because someone else questions it. He protects the integrity of what you're building together. At the same time, he's not rigidly defensive to the point of isolating you both from everyone else's perspectives. If someone close to him expresses a genuine concern, not judgment based on age difference, but actual observation of concerning patterns, he's willing to listen and reflect. He can distinguish between prejudice and protection, between bias and wisdom, between interference and care. He maintains this balance, creating a relationship that's both protected enough to flourish and open enough to benefit from outside wisdom when it's genuinely valuable. The 31st revealing behavior is how he handles success and celebration, both his own and yours. When good things happen in your life, a promotion, an achievement, recognition, a goal accomplished, or any other success, he celebrates genuinely and without making it about him. He doesn't downplay your achievements or feel threatened by your success. He doesn't immediately redirect the conversation to his own accomplishments or use your success as a springboard to discuss his goals. He centers your joy, your pride, and your accomplishment. He asks you to tell him all about it. He wants to hear the details. He expresses genuine pride and excitement. He celebrates publicly if that's your preference, and privately if you prefer to keep it low-key. He makes you feel seen and celebrated in your success. Similarly, when he experiences success, he wants to share that joy with you. He doesn't hide his accomplishments out of some misguided notion that he shouldn't shine too brightly. He invites you into his victories and gives you credit for the ways you've supported his journey. This mutual celebration creates a dynamic of abundance rather than competition, where you both root for each other's success and find joy in each other's accomplishments. The 32nd sign is how he handles routine and the mundane aspects of life together. Romance, passion, and deep conversations are wonderful, but life is mostly made up of ordinary moments. Grocery shopping, doing dishes, paying bills, running errands, managing household tasks, and navigating daily routines. When a man deeply loves you, he doesn't treat these mundane aspects of life as beneath him or as solely your responsibility. He participates in the ordinary work of creating a life together. He doesn't expect you to manage all the invisible labor while he shows up for the fun parts. He's willing to do boring tasks because they need doing, and because partnership means sharing both the exciting and the tedious aspects of life. Moreover, he finds ways to make even mundane moments feel like connection. He turns grocery shopping into an opportunity to joke around and spend time together. He makes cooking dinner a collaborative activity rather than a chore. He engages with the ordinary moments of life, with presence rather than treating them as obstacles to get through to reach the good parts. This transformation of the mundane through love and presence demonstrates that his feelings for you aren't dependent on constant excitement or novelty. They're woven into the fabric of everyday life in ways that make even ordinary moments feel meaningful. The 33rd behavior is how he respects your need for authenticity and doesn't ask you to perform femininity in ways that don't feel genuine to you. Every woman has her own relationship with femininity, fashion, beauty practices, and self-presentation. Some women love makeup and fashion. Others prefer a more natural approach. Some women enjoy traditionally feminine activities. Others have different interests. When a man deeply loves you, he doesn't ask you to perform a version of femininity that isn't authentic to you. He doesn't expect you to wear makeup if that's not your preference, or to dress in ways that don't reflect your style. He doesn't need you to be traditionally feminine in your interests, behaviors, or presentation to find you attractive and lovable. He loves the authentic version of you, however that manifests. He's attracted to your genuine self-expression, not to your ability to conform to external standards of how women should be. This respect for your authenticity extends beyond appearance to all aspects of your personality and preferences. He doesn't ask you to be more agreeable, more accommodating, more nurturing, or more anything that doesn't feel true to who you are. He fell in love with you as you are, and he doesn't want you to change yourself to fit some template of the ideal woman or partner. This acceptance of your whole authentic self, strengths, quirks, preferences, and all, creates an environment where you can truly be yourself without performance or pretense. The 34th sign is how he approaches forgiveness and repair after hurts or mistakes. No relationship is perfect, and even the most loving partners will hurt each other sometimes through miscommunication, thoughtlessness, mistakes, or moments of being centered in their own needs rather than considering their partner. When a man deeply loves you, he approaches these inevitable hurts with both accountability and grace. When he hurts you, he takes responsibility. He offers genuine apologies without defensiveness or justification. He doesn't just say the words, but demonstrates through changed behavior that he heard you and is working to do better. He doesn't bring up your past mistakes to deflect from his current one. He focuses on understanding the impact of his actions, making amends and rebuilding trust through consistent, caring behavior. Similarly, when you hurt him, because you will, because we all do, he extends grace and forgiveness. He doesn't hold grudges or keep score. He doesn't bring up past hurts every time there's a new conflict. He doesn't use your mistakes as weapons or as evidence of why you're fundamentally flawed. He understands that imperfection is part of being human and that capacity for repair is more important than never making mistakes. This mutual practice of accountability and forgiveness creates a relationship resilient enough to weather the inevitable storms that all partnerships face. The 35th revealing behavior is how he handles your professional life and career with respect and support. Your career and professional identity are significant parts of who you are, especially as an older woman who has likely invested years in building expertise, reputation, and success in your field. When a man deeply loves you, he doesn't see your career as competition for your time and attention or as something that takes away from the relationship. He sees it as an integral part of who you are. He respects your professional commitments and doesn't pressure you to prioritize the relationship over important work responsibilities. He asks about your work with genuine interest, not just polite surface-level questions. He wants to understand what you do, what challenges you face, what excites you about your field, and what your professional goals are. He supports your career advancement even when it requires sacrifice from him, whether that's relocating, managing a long-distance period, accepting that you have irregular hours or need to travel, or handling more domestic responsibilities during particularly demanding work seasons. He doesn't resent your success or feel emasculated by your professional achievements. He's proud of what you've accomplished and actively supports you in pursuing further growth and opportunities. This support demonstrates that he loves you as a whole person, not just in your capacity as his partner, and he wants to see you thrive in all areas of your life. The 36th sign is how he approaches your friendships and encourages rather than isolates you from your support network. Isolation is a common tactic in unhealthy or controlling relationships, but when a man deeply loves you, he does the opposite. He encourages your connections with friends, family, and community. He understands that these relationships existed before him and are important to your well-being. He doesn't get jealous of time you spend with friends. He doesn't create drama or make you feel guilty for having a life beyond the relationship. He doesn't try to convince you that he should be enough or that you don't need other people. Instead, he actively supports your friendships. He asks about your friends and remembers details about their lives. He encourages you to make plans with them. He offers to handle things at home so you can have girls' nights out or weekend trips with friends. He gets along with your friends when you all spend time together and makes effort to build positive relationships with the important people in your life. This encouragement of your social connections demonstrates security and understanding that healthy relationships aren't isolated bubbles but exist within larger networks of love and support. He wants you to have a rich, full life with many sources of connection, joy, and support because he understands that this makes you happier, more balanced, and more fully yourself, which ultimately benefits the relationship. The 37th behavior is how he manages his own life and well-being without making you responsible for his happiness. There's a difference between being a supportive partner and being someone's emotional caretaker or the sole source of their happiness. When a man deeply loves you, he takes responsibility for his own emotional well-being, his own goals, his own friendships, his own interests, and his own personal growth. He doesn't expect you to manage his emotions, fix his problems, or be the only source of joy and meaning in his life. He has his own hobbies and interests that he pursues independently. He maintains his own friendships and social connections. He manages his own mental health through whatever practices work for him: therapy, exercise, meditation, creative pursuits, or other tools. He processes his own emotions and takes responsibility for his own healing and growth. This emotional self-sufficiency doesn't mean he doesn't need you or doesn't lean on you for support. Of course he does, because that's part of partnership. But he doesn't make his entire sense of well-being contingent on you or the relationship. This creates a healthier dynamic where you're supporting each other from a place of strength rather than filling each other's gaps from a place of desperation or need. It allows the relationship to be a choice and an enhancement to both your lives, rather than a necessity that either of you clings to out of fear of being alone. The 38th sign is how he talks about you to others in ways that honor your dignity and privacy. When a man deeply loves you, he's thoughtful about how he represents you in conversations with others. He doesn't share private information about your relationship, your body, your personal struggles, or intimate details without your consent. He doesn't use you as a topic of conversation to entertain his friends or to seek validation. He doesn't complain about you to others as a way of venting frustration rather than addressing issues directly with you. He doesn't reduce you to stereotypes or make jokes at your expense, even light-hearted ones that would make you uncomfortable if you heard them. Instead, he speaks about you with respect, admiration, and appropriate boundaries around privacy. This discretion demonstrates that he sees you as a person with agency and dignity, not as an extension of himself or a character in his life story to be discussed freely. It shows that your trust in him extends beyond how he treats you directly to how he represents you in spaces where you're not present to speak for yourself. The 39th revealing behavior is how he handles moments when you're more successful, knowledgeable, or capable in specific situations. We've touched on this before, but it's worth examining more deeply. In any partnership, there will be contexts where one person has more to offer in a specific situation, more knowledge, more skill, more resources, or more success. When a man deeply loves an older woman, there will inevitably be many situations where your experience, wisdom, connections, or capabilities exceed his. The question is, how does he handle these moments? A man motivated by ego or insecurity might feel threatened, might try to assert himself inappropriately, might minimize your contributions, or might avoid situations where your superiority in specific areas is highlighted. But a man who deeply loves you does something different. He steps back gracefully. He acknowledges your expertise. He defers to your judgment when appropriate. He lets you lead when you're the better leader in that context. He amplifies your voice rather than talking over you. He takes genuine pride in your capabilities rather than feeling diminished by them. This grace in moments when you exceed him, which, given the age difference and your life experience, will happen frequently, demonstrates secure masculinity and deep love. It shows that his sense of self isn't fragile or contingent on always being the most knowledgeable, capable, or successful person in the room. It shows that he values competence and excellence more than ego, and it shows that he's genuinely proud to be with someone as capable and accomplished as you are. The 40th sign is how he builds traditions and rituals with you that create a unique relationship culture. Every relationship has the potential to develop its own culture. Shared jokes, special traditions, rituals that mark significant moments or create connection, ways of doing things that are unique to you as a couple. When a man deeply loves you, he actively participates in creating this shared culture. He suggests traditions, embraces the ones you initiate, and maintains them over time. Maybe it's a special way you celebrate birthdays or anniversaries. Maybe it's a weekly ritual like cooking a special meal together, having a date night, or taking a Sunday morning walk. Maybe it's phrases or jokes that are meaningful only within your relationship. Maybe it's how you handle holidays or mark seasonal changes. Maybe it's how you celebrate good news or comfort each other during hard times. These traditions and rituals might seem small, but they create a sense of us, a unique relational identity that belongs only to the two of you. When a man invests in creating and maintaining these shared practices, he's demonstrating that he's not just participating in a relationship. He's actively building a partnership with its own history, culture, and identity. This long-term thinking and investment in the unique character of your relationship shows deep love and commitment. As we come to the end of this deep exploration, I want you to take a moment to reflect. If you're in a relationship with a man, how many of these signs do you recognize? And here's the crucial understanding. You don't need to see all 40 behaviors to know he loves you deeply, but you should see many of them consistently over time. Real love isn't perfect, but it is demonstrable. It shows up. It's consistent. It honors you. It challenges you to grow. It creates safety while also inspiring expansion. It respects your past while building your future. It sees you, really sees you, not as an age, not as a category, but as a whole, complex, fascinating human being worthy of deep, committed, transformative love. And if you're not currently in a relationship, I hope this exploration has given you a clear template for what you deserve and what real love looks like. Don't settle for less than a man who demonstrates these qualities. Don't accept behavior that dishonors you, dismisses you, or diminishes you. You've lived too long, learned too much, and overcome too much to accept anything less than genuine, deep, respectful, passionate love that meets you exactly where you are and celebrates everything you've become. Age is not a barrier to being loved deeply. In fact, many women find that the most profound love of their lives comes later, precisely because they've developed the wisdom to recognize it and the strength to demand it. Your years aren't something to apologize for or overcome. They're part of what makes you the incredible woman you are. And a man who truly loves you understands that your age, your experience, your accumulated wisdom, and yes, even your scars and wounds are all part of the complete package that he finds absolutely irresistible. Before you go, I want to ask you again to support this channel and this community. If this video resonated with you, please hit that like button. It makes a real difference in helping this message reach more women who need to hear it. Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts, your experiences, or your insights. Your voice matters, and your contribution enriches this community. Share this video with a friend, especially one who might be questioning whether the love she's experiencing is real or who needs validation that her relationship is as special as she feels it is. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you're always part of our conversations about relationships, psychology, and the deeper truths about human connection. And if you really want to support the work we do here, consider leaving a super thanks. It directly helps us continue creating this content and reaching more people with these important messages. Remember, you deserve to be loved deeply, completely, and unapologetically. You deserve a man who sees your age as an asset, not a liability. You deserve someone who rises to meet your standards, rather than asking you to lower them. You deserve partnership based on mutual respect, genuine attraction, and shared commitment to building a life together. Don't settle. Don't compromise on the essentials. And don't ever let anyone, including the voice in your own head, tell you that you're too old to experience the profound, transformative love you deserve. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for doing the work of understanding yourself and relationships more deeply. And thank you for refusing to accept anything less than you deserve. Until next time, keep your heart open, your standards high, and your belief in your worth unshakable. I'll see you in the next video.